So what can often happen is a silencing of that want and desire for more through guilt. You don't get to ask for more. Who are you to ask for more? It's selfish. Oh, I feel so guilty. And so that's the loop that we can get ourselves in. We recognize there's a craving, a calling for more, and then it's like we squash it immediately or feel guilty for that existing.
Welcome to the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast, where you will learn simple solutions to win at work without losing at home. Hi, my name is Martine Williams, and I am your host and CEO, your Chief Encouragement Officer. And this podcast is your one-stop shop to creating a burnout-proof life and business by elevating your clarity, confidence, and courage. Friends, it's time to say goodbye to being the yes girl, to procrastinating on your goals and living in overwhelm. And it's time to say hello to creating healthy boundaries, healthy mindsets, and healthy habits so that you can achieve work-life harmony. Your next breakthrough starts here. This is the Life Coaching for Mompreneurs podcast. Let's do this. Friends, well, today we have a Turquoise Talk guest, and I am super excited to introduce you to her. Her name is Katie Pulsifer, and she is a master certified life coach. She's the creator of the Golden Coaching Certification and a trusted guide for women who've outgrown the lives they spent years building. Her and I had the most amazing conversation. There's so much similarities in our journeys, our burnout, our performance loop, and so you're just going to love this conversation. She's had 13 years of experience and 5 years as an executive leader at the Life Coach School. She has trained thousands of coaches and supported countless clients with her heart-led approach and rooted in excellence, integrity, and meaningful results. She's known for her blend of warmth, precision, and deep compassion, which you will for sure hear in our interview. And she helps high-achieving women move from overstretched and unfulfilled to grounded, clear, and purpose-filled. So whether they're launching something new or stepping back to recalibrate or redefining success on their own terms, Katie is a mentor to women ready to create lives they genuinely love. Again, we had so much in common. The women that we work with, we're both here for you, and this episode is for you as a high-achieving mompreneur, small business owner, woman in business, woman in leadership. So without further ado, let's just dive right in. Hey friends, welcome back to the show. We have another Turquoise Talk guest on today, Katie Pulsifer. Thank you so much, Katie, for coming on the show today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks so much.
We were chatting before we hit record. I told her, I said we could probably talk for hours because we have so much in common and such a heart and a passion for coaching and for women and helping them. So I would love to just get to know you a little bit more, Katie, and tell me a little bit about you, your family, and how you got into this business.
So I discovered coaching in 2012 when I was going through a tremendous amount of upheaval and change in my life. Unexpectedly, my first marriage was winding down, and at that point, I had an 11-year-old daughter. And I was also pretty disillusioned with my corporate gig. We had a lot of change and a lot of strategy fluctuations, and it was just everything was up for re-looking at, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everything was under review in my personal life. And a friend recommended a coach, and I was just so at first put off by coaching, I'll be honest, and also so intrigued because I had never, and mind you, I'm in my early 40s at this point, but I had never had someone tell me so directly that I was in charge of so much of my life. Because up until that point, I was so good at just making things work, adapting, being flexible. You need me here? Great, I'll go there. I'll make it look amazing. You need me over here? No problem. I'm sprinting over to fix that. So when I met this coach and she told me, you could have a lot to say about your own future and creating whatever you want, I was like, that's just not possible.
Yeah.
And then we started working together and I realized it was. And so since then, totally hooked.
Yeah.
And certified, coached people, trained thousands of coaches myself, working for a school. Fortunately, fell in love again and became a bonus mom to two more girls. And so
Nice.
we are a family of five now, and I have a coaching business. So I think I answered your
You
question.
did.
Maybe the
No, I
long way
love it.
around.
I love it. I mean, it's one of my favorite things about the podcast is I get to meet so many amazing women and hear their stories of how they got started. Because there are people who are listening to the podcast who are either thinking about coaching or thinking about becoming a coach or thinking about
Mhm,
starting their own business. And some of the things that you expressed are the feelings that they feel before they
mhm,
new thing, right? No matter what it is. But I,
mhm,
as you were talking, I was thinking about when I hired my first coach. So my background's in direct sales, and I remember feeling like I had taken my business as far as I could take it with the tools that I had. And I had
mhm,
done pretty well, but I knew that I needed some refining, and I knew there was somebody who had been there, done that, gone before me that could kind of teach.
mhm,
So I remember meeting her at a conference, and she just had a very clear, simple, doable plan. And she was like, you follow the plan, you're going to get the results. And for someone like
mhm,
me who loves having a plan, like I'm
mhm,
a hard worker, just give me the plan to do.
mhm,
So I remember like going straight to her table after that conference and talking to her, and then,
mhm,
sharing the investment. And I had never invested in coaching before,
mhm.
and I honestly, I had been under a lot of mentorship, but coaching is a little bit different. So,
Very, yeah.
right. So to bring on that extra, I knew it was something that I needed, but there was also this kind of like you, like I'm not really sure what this is going to look like and is this going to be helpful. So I appreciate you sharing that because I do think there are people who want to invest in the help. They know someone else can help them, but there's just some reservations around making that
Mhm,
first investment financially. I mean, it's scary, it's
mhm,
kind of like a risk that you're taking, or it
mhm.
feels like a risk until you get in it, and then you're like, oh my gosh, where has this been all my life?
Right,
Yeah.
totally. And I'm like you, I love a good plan. I am such a Virgo and I an oldest daughter and you give me a little bit of a, roadmap and I am down the road. I love that. But with coaching, it was this as you know, this blending of like, well, what are you actually thinking as you're on your
Yeah.
way to execute that plan? Because those thoughts may get you to the finish line or they'll derail you left and right. So we've got to understand what's going on in the brain. And then we have to understand, of course, what's happening in your body with these emotions and how they might be sending you the most important signals, ones not to ignore
Yeah.
or ones to just work through
Hmm.
and be with. But, it's the whole package. That's what I love so much. It's heart, body, mind, and how we as humans are using everything at our disposal to understand ourselves and to create exactly what we want. And the more I do this, the more women I work with, I'm like, I just keep believing in it even harder.
Yeah. And there, I don't know if you feel this way, but there's so many that don't understand what you just said.
Mhm.
As like a highly ambitious person or a high performer, it's all about the performance. And I talk about this
Mhm.
on the podcast a lot. We get
Mhm.
stuck in this like performance loop, and we're
Yes.
not even thinking about what our body is telling us.
Yes.
That's all been new for me over the last 2 or 3 years. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, 3 or 4 years, really kind of tapping into like, what is my body telling me? What are my emotions? I didn't like
Mhm.
emotions, didn't have time for emotions. And that's a whole
Mhm.
part of me that I was just kind of pushing down or
Yeah.
avoiding away or staying
Yeah.
busy for. And I just think there's so much power when you understand all of that and able to
Yeah.
put all of that in your tool belt, not just your drive and your ambition.
Mhm.
Take your heart and your desire and your emotions and what your brain is telling you and get it all aligned to move forward is a really
Yeah.
powerful place to be.
Truly. I mean, I think about all I did in that first chapter of my
Mhm.
life in that first marriage. And it was 20 years. It was not a short marriage. And I had a big corporate job and I was getting on planes and flying to China and
Mhm.
Japan and Europe for work and raising a daughter. And what I can have so much compassion for now, all the things I didn't know as a very young wife and mother, but how much of my life I ran in fight or flight mode,
Yes.
like highly, highly
Mhm.
activated, a low grade upset stomach at all times that I just
You thought it was
tolerate it.
normal. You
It
probably thought it was
was
normal. Yeah.
completely normal. That's what it means to live that high
Mm,
pace, that job, that travel schedule, mothering. And then it wasn't until I learned all about coaching and my nervous system and my body and being in a marriage where I feel such a steady,
mm,
calm nervous system.
yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh. To, I just my younger self, I have so much respect for her, what she was
Yes.
able to put up with. But it's like, oh, I want all women to live with this type of calm. I
Mhm.
could say, oh yeah, it's because I married this incredible man. Yes, he's incredible.
Yes.
But my thinking, my feeling, my understanding of my body
Mhm.
makes this marriage amazing, right?
Yeah.
Makes this second round, makes being in business for myself incredible and amazing.
Yeah.
No more stomach aches either, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Well, I know you talk about the good life guilt trap.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that because this is guilt is definitely an emotion that comes up a lot. Mom guilt
Hmm.
specifically for my
Hmm.
listeners and for my clients. I'd
Hmm.
love for you to just kind of touch on what is this and why do we fall into that trap? Quick pause. If you've been listening and you're ready to stop performing your life and start leading it, if you know you're ready to feel better now, not later, and you're ready for support that actually creates sustainable transformation, I have private one on one coaching spots open. And inside this coaching, in Illuminate You coaching, we don't guess. We use your unique personality blueprint built from the science backed personality and performance tool called the Pro Scan, the one you've heard me talk about here in the podcast. This is used so that every decision, every boundary, every shift is designed specifically around your wiring, not someone else's. This is my aligned success method. It's not hacks. It's not try harder. It's not mindset glitter. It's a real solution. It's rooted in science, strategy, and your unique design. So you can lead your life as the woman you actually are, not the woman others expect you to be. Now is the time. Take the step. Book your clarity call at martinewilliams.com/clarity. All right, back to the episode.
Yes. So in the segment of women that I work with, high achievers like you as well, who have accomplished great things, and they look around their lives and they have so much to be proud of.
Mm,
Checked all the boxes, did what they were told or what was expected of them, or what they expected of themselves. I'm firmly in Gen X generation, told I could have it all, did create it all, so proud. And then to look around, many of my clients look around and realize, I feel really bad because this just isn't what I thought it would be, or it's no longer what I want. I want more. I want something else. And they feel badly about that because they have so
right.
much more maybe than others.
Yeah.
So, what can often happen is a silencing of that want and desire for more and with through guilt.
Mm,
Like, don't ask for more. You already have so much,
yeah.
or the world is a tough place right now. Just be lucky, be
Right. Be
grateful, be
grateful.
thankful, and that's another like sort of suppression mechanism. Like gratitude and gratitude practices are so incredible, but not when we use them to like
Mm,
silence. And I would even say kind of like muzzle ourselves,
yeah.
it's like, don't, like,
Yeah.
you don't get to ask for more. Who
Yeah.
are you to ask for more? It's selfish. Oh, I feel so guilty. And so
Mhm.
that's the loop that we can get ourselves in. We recognize there's a craving, a calling for more, and then it's like we squash it immediately or feel guilty for that existing. And
Yeah.
I want to meet her in that moment where maybe the idea will never come to fruition, but let's at least explore it together and see
Right.
what it actually is about before you push it away.
Yeah. I resonate with that so much. And I kind of call it the quiet burnout that no one talks about because I can
Mm-hmm.
remember, being at the top of my, previous career in direct sales, having, the house and the family and the kids and like having all the success on paper and then just still feeling like something was off. Like I couldn't pinpoint it. And I think for a lot of women, that's why they stay there because they can't pinpoint what the
Right.
problem is.
Yes.
And I just knew I was off, and I knew there was something different, but I didn't. It just all of my own thoughts in my own head until I actually talked with someone about it to get it
Hmm.
out, like you said, have someone meet you where you are. But there
Hmm.
was a lot for me that I had to work through before I would even voice it to someone else because
Yeah.
it was like, look at what you have. Why do you want something different?
Hmm.
Or
Hmm.
why can't you just be happy with what you have? And I mean, I'm a woman of faith, so I really feel like that God called me out because there was another assignment that he had for me,
Oh, yes.
another something that another
Yes.
he wanted me to impact. And so I really leaned in in that process. But I just remember thinking some of the things that you just said. It's just like this guilt and like I should be grateful and I have all this success and it didn't make sense to anybody on paper that I would walk away from something that was so successful,
Hmm.
but I couldn't, even before I understood it all, Katie, I couldn't ignore how I was feeling in my body.
Right.
I didn't even know what it was. I just knew like this is a form of burnout for me that I'm staying loyal because it's more comfortable to stay where you've been. There was a lot of unknowns going into like
Yes.
building
Yeah.
another business, right?
Hmm.
Not from
Hmm.
scratch, but from a new beginning. So I
Hmm.
appreciate you sharing that because I do think that's where a lot of women get. And I can remember thinking in my leaving that 16-year career, thinking this is bigger than me. I'm
Hmm.
hoping that I will show other women that they can step out of something they've been in for 16 years or 10
Hmm.
years or 5 years. They can choose differently. And it doesn't
Yes.
have to be the end of the world and you can be successful again. And but
Hmm.
like listen when your heart is telling you like there's
Hmm.
something else here,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to meet that exact moment, because there's such fear with, well, if I walk away from this, I'm going to have to blow everything up to have something over there, and how terrifying that can be. And
Oh
so to
yeah.
meet someone in that moment, or to just meet them in the moment where they get to vocalize a passion, a dream, an idea, a creative pursuit, and just play like I always love saying, you don't have to ever do anything. It can just be this secret between you and I.
Right.
But wouldn't it feel like relief to admit what's going on inside of you? We don't have to tell another person, but to just be truthful with yourself that a part of you wants something.
Mhm.
And instead of meeting that part of you and saying it's selfish or you should feel guilty about it, let's meet that part of you with honesty
Mhm. Yeah.
and compassion and curiosity
Yeah.
and just see what's there.
Yeah.
And that I'm sure you witness it all the time. It's like one of the best moments in coaching is to just hold space for someone to
Mhm.
name. I've heard many things spoken for the very, very first time that no one else
Yeah.
has heard
Yeah.
because we often don't give ourselves permission.
Yeah. It's almost like a difference in like running on autopilot and then
Hmm.
actually living.
Yes.
Like you said,
Yes.
even if you don't put action behind any of those things, but to truly listen to your body and like live your life versus on autopilot or doing what everyone else thinks you should do or could do,
Yes.
even if you
Yes.
could do it. I mean, I could have stayed there
Hmm.
and done amazing and still done amazing. But I think I would have always had that inner struggle of there's something else, and I'm
Hmm.
so thankful that I had coaching in my life to help let me just have that permission in that
Hmm.
moment just to kind of even talk about leaving. Like the thought of leaving was like, wow, I can't even believe I'm saying this audibly. But to have
Yes.
a safe person, which is another
Yes.
powerful thing about a coach is you have a safe place to land these ideas and these emotions and have someone
Hmm.
just talk through it with you.
Yeah, yeah, I know. When I left my corporate job, it was like, oh my God, I have the health insurance and I'm the breadwinner and I'm the, just everything that kept me in a spin
Oh yeah.
for like 9 months of indecision. And it was
Mhm.
finally after I had my second panic attack at work, I was like, okay, time out. This is, and
Yeah.
it's just so wild to think that I finally left and my last day was a Friday. And by Monday morning at 10 a.m., I had health insurance. And I was like, because I just found like an agent and just signed up and had, but it was like, oh, if I had kept listening to my brain that that was not possible for me,
Yeah.
I could have spun out another 6 months and had four more panic attacks or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
but to just be like, no, I'm doing this. I'm betting on me. We'll see. Why not?
Yeah.
And that kind of a question has like guided me so well since then. Is like, why not me? Why not? Like, let's
Yeah.
see what else I can do and what
Yeah, what
else
could
is
be
out there for
possible?
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what could be possible versus what could go wrong, what could be possible.
Right. Right.
Right? It's just a totally different way of thinking. And
Hmm.
as you were like describing your anxiety and your anxiety attacks, it just made me think of like your body will call a meeting eventually. I mean, it just will, you know. I
Yes.
mean, for
Yes.
some people, I mean, I've had clients that have told me like I daydream about a hospital visit because I just want the rest. Like, that's not living.
No. Oh,
Daydreaming about
wow.
like having a hospital stay, that's what they come in with all this burnout. And so I
Hmm.
always like to ask my guests if they've experienced burnout, and if they did, what did it physically show up for you? It sounds like
Mm.
panic attacks was kind of your version of burnout. Do you have anything else to add to that for you?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was definitely burnout. It was definitely this stomach discomfort that, pulled me out of presentations and meetings at work. I was not comfortable being very far from like the bathroom because I just had like a very, very upset stomach
Yeah.
for a couple of years.
Mhm.
And I also lost a ton of weight. I lost like 10 pounds, and that was very visible on my body. I had an appetite and I was eating, but I was not able to keep food in my body. And I was just, I didn't know any of this at the time. I mean, of course, it was 2012, 2013,
Right.
half of 2014, and I was just kind of shaky
Mhm.
and weak, and my stomach was really messed up, and I had trouble sleeping.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any time to really explore any of those things or get to the bottom. I mean, I was curious and worried, sort of, but I had a big job and I knew divorce was coming. It was just, it was a matter of finalizing things. I had a daughter to raise and make sure her transition went as well as we could possibly oversee. And so I just kind of was like, I'll get better someday.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I found coaching and I found yoga, and those two things, and not hardcore yoga like restorative
Sort
yoga,
of.
like lay down yoga. And that healed me physically, and then the coaching healed me mentally. So,
I love that. Thank you for sharing that because I was going to ask next, like, what did you do or what do you do
hmm
now as a preventative measure? Because burnout, I mean, it can come and go, and I think we've all
hmm
experienced some form or
hmm
some level of it.
hmm
But I think there are ways we can be proactive in preventing
hmm
it. So yoga
hmm
and coaching sounds like it was for you.
Yeah, in that moment was for me. And now I definitely still enjoy yoga as well now. But for me, it's a lot of solitude and quiet time. I
Okay.
pace myself so much better.
Yeah, me too.
It's a lot of getting outside, putting my face in the sun, looking at nature, quiet, like just recharging. And I'll be honest, I also have said goodbye to a lot of friendships
Mm.
that had like a transactional quality or felt like I heard this great interview with Reese Witherspoon, and I think Glennon Doyle and Reese Witherspoon talked about friendships need to have equal deposits and withdrawals, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's what this is. I had a couple of important friendships, but it was all withdrawals. They
Yeah.
were taking
Yeah.
withdrawals. Oh, every time we got together, it was like another withdrawal
Right.
and
Yeah.
very few deposits made. And
Yeah.
I was like, I can't have these friendships anymore.
Yeah.
I literally have to walk away from them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were since childhood, like long-standing friendships, but I've got no more to give.
Yeah.
There, you
Yeah.
can't take any more withdrawals here. So
Yeah. Well, that's a
those
form
were,
of self-care, right?
yeah.
People think self-care is about bubble baths and eating chocolate and vegging out and watching Netflix, but like making an adult decision like that,
Hmm.
these people are, friendships are cyclical, and right now I'm feeling like I'm having the withdrawals more than the deposits in this relationship. So it's
Yeah.
just having that awareness to cut the ties there when needed. And it's not
Yeah.
easy, but it is necessary.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of angst and a lot. I worried over those two friendships for a long, long time. And you know what? It's been forever since I've let them go. And it was, I remember the good times. And yeah, I'm just much more careful about my time, and my nervous system is so grateful, so
Yeah.
much calmer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I love that. It is important. Our environment, what circles we're in,
hmm
is really, really important.
hmm
Hey, friend, let's talk. It's time to book your clarity call. We are going to spend 1 full hour focused on you. A clarity call isn't about pressure. It's about possibilities. It's about you. You having a space to talk through what's on your heart and mind, you walking away with a clear vision and practical next steps, and you feeling confident in what's next and how to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's my job. All you need to do is show up, and we'll figure it out together. This is the best hour you can invest in yourself right now. Not in 6 months from now, not next month, right now. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what one of my coaching clients had to say after working together.
Working with Martine has been a game changer. Honestly, I was reluctant at first because of the cost, but after my first session, I quickly came to realize that her expertise is exactly what I needed. She went over my personality pro scan with me that ultimately gave me the insight I needed to know about myself, such as my strengths and my weaknesses. This enables me to better understand myself, how I relate to others on a personal and professional level. It has been eye-opening. Martine is encouraging, understanding, and gives tough love when it's needed. She will go over and beyond for you. I absolutely adore her.
That transformation, it starts with one conversation. It's time to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. So head right now to martinewilliams.com or in the show notes and grab your private clarity call spot on my calendar before they're gone. And since I personally monitor my inbox, if you don't see a time slot that fits your calendar, just send me an email at martine@martinewilliams.com with 3 times that do work, and I will make it work for you. All right, friend, let's get back to the show. So tell me about why some women go blank when they're asked, what do you want? And I love this question because I get it too. And it's like, what do you want? And there's just this blank deer in headlights look on their
Yeah.
face. And
hmm
then I think they get so, I don't know if you find this with the women that you work with, but when I ask the question and they see the blankness,
hmm
there's almost immediate judgment on,
Yeah,
I
of
can't believe
course.
I don't know what I want, or I can't believe I can't
Yeah.
answer that question. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's okay. It's totally common.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
common, but let's talk about it and let's like I think they just don't give themselves the time and the space to
hmm
actually answer the question. They're asking it, but they're not answering it.
Right.
What have you found? Why they
Same.
get the
You
blanks
nailed
later?
it, perfectly. But, especially as moms, and then if we're also in relationships or also working, we are very attuned and gifted, I would say, at making sure we know what everyone else wants. We know what the preferences are on the dinner table. We know what the preferences are for activities or movies or, places to go. And we can track and maintain a lot of details. And I think when we're so externally focused, or we get a lot of validation and support for being so externally focused, speaking for myself in particular, it's very easy to lose connection with ourselves. And I used to just kind of fit myself in the little like cracks that would open up. It's like, I got you covered. I got you covered. I got you covered. I'll go take up a little teeny space over here, and whatever you all are having will be fine with me. And I hear this over and over and over again with moms that I coach. And so I think we're just out of practice. I
Yeah.
think it boils down to that. Sometimes it's not that more dramatic than that. It's just like it has been so long since I have asked myself what I want that I don't know.
Mhm.
I've forgotten.
Mhm.
And so building up a bit of I have a couple of exercises around that kind of prime the brain and warm the brain back up to find out what it is that you love again.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes your woman may not be in a situation where people want to hear her answer.
Yeah, true.
Or she's offered it, but it doesn't go anywhere. No one's like, oh, that's cool. Tell me more. So she learns again to kind of self-silence or keep that to herself, or I don't get to have it now anyway. Maybe after the kids are grown or we get through this busy quarter at the company, I'll worry about it then. So it can be a combination of several things.
Yeah. I call it the one day strategy. One day I'll get back to that. One
Yeah,
day I'll ask myself, one day I'll date my spouse again, one day, one day. And that one day just doesn't come on
right.
accident. We keep waiting
Right.
for that one day and thinking, and none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. But that's
Exactly.
the other part. I'm like, why wait until your kids are older and grown before you
Hmm.
start, thinking of yourself? And, we're the model for a lot of our kids. And,
Hmm.
I like the question that I like to ask them is like, what do you like to do for fun? Because that's also another one. Like
Yes.
I can't remember the last time I had
Yeah.
fun for
Yeah.
me, for the sake of fun. We've almost bought this lie that everything we do as an ambitious woman, whether it be the mom role or the CEO role or the
Hmm.
corporate executive role, it's like everything I do has to have a productive end. We can't
Hmm.
do something for the sake of fun and play, which is there's all kinds of science behind fun and play.
Hmm.
Adults,
Yes. Yes. It's so
so
important.
important. So it's like, what would you like to do for fun? And every time I ask that, they're just like, I don't know what I'd do if I had 10 extra minutes to myself.
Hmm.
Same blank stare happens
You're
when you
right.
ask that question too. So
Yeah. 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 I remember my coach gave me way back. She was like, okay, what brings you joy? And
mm,
now I use that question a lot too. And I was on a business trip in New York City and I had a night to myself and I had taken myself out to dinner. And so I whipped out my journal and I was like, I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to answer this question. The whole meal goes by. I have not written a thing. I am staring at this blank piece of paper. I'm like, well,
yeah.
I guess I have to order dessert because I can't leave until I at least write down one thing. And something on the menu caught my eye, and I was like, oh, I love a juicy peach. That brings me a lot of joy. And so that was the very first thing that I wrote in my journal to
Mm,
answer that question.
yeah.
And it just like opened the floodgates, and
Yes.
I was able to just brainstorm a lot of things. But, just starting with the smallest
Yeah.
little, a piece of fruit brings me such joy. It was like, oh, there are things that light me up and that I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
And I was able to capture them. But yeah, starting small. I tell my clients that story a lot because it's like it can be the smallest thing, and
Yes. And we make
it's so
everything
important.
complicated and harder than it needs to be sometimes. It's like
Totally.
just what's the very simple thing
Yes.
that
Yes.
brings you joy. So,
Mm.
and if I remember when I was in a season and I was at a women's conference and I was rooming with a group of ladies, and I was kind of in that season where I was like, okay, I've lost my identity on the way to success. Like
Mhm.
success was my identity, and I was looking in the mirror, I couldn't really make recognize the woman on the other side of it, which is what allowed me, or really was the catalyst for getting into coaching and helping other women. But I remember being in the hotel room with the women I was sharing the room with, and one of the ladies was listening to like 80s and 90s music while she was getting ready, putting her makeup
Love
on
it.
and doing her,
Yeah.
doing her hair. And I looked at her and I was like, I used to do that. I used to
Hmm.
do that. Like, where did I lose that? Like, that was fun
Yeah.
for me, like a jam
Yeah.
session while I was getting ready. So when it become like my jam session was like my personal development session. I was listening to
Mm.
podcasts, listening to book on audio, like anything that was going to make me a better person or a better uh, business owner at the time.
Hmm.
And I just started pushing all of that fun out because everything had to feel
Yeah.
productive to me. And it was just such a beautiful, simple thing. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can
And
bring
who
that,
doesn't love a little 80s and 90s
right?
music? I mean, it's going to totally change your day.
Yes, totally change your day. For my listeners know that we've had a lot of loss here recently, and the last 2 weeks have been just super heavy with grief. And my husband was out of town with my boys, and I really was in a place where I didn't really want to talk to a lot of people, and people are my energy. Like I get energy from people, but I was just kind of like
Mhm.
isolating a little bit. And I thought, okay, I've got the weekend to myself. This could go one of two ways, probably. And I had several invitations to go to dinner, and I just didn't want to do it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to what I want. I don't want
Mhm.
to feel like I have to talk or I have to
Yeah.
socialize.
Yeah.
And so I just put on 90s music all weekend. And it was
Oh,
just
I
like the
love that for
best.
you.
It was
I
just the best thing. I'm like, there's no grief that a 90s playlist can't pull me out of.
Oh, I love that for
It was
you.
amazing. It
Oh,
was. It was.
oh, that's so beautiful.
It was. So, like to your point, it doesn't have to be this huge life overhaul,
Right.
right? It's just what is something simple right now that brings you
Mm-hmm.
joy, that lights you up, that will
Mm-hmm.
bring some fun into your life that you can
Mm-hmm.
implement very easily. And then the floodgates will open for other things.
Yeah, and I think also if you've been prioritizing everyone else for
Mhm.
so long, then your body, even your body, your nervous system, it's going to feel very uncomfortable to flip that and all of a sudden prioritize yourself ahead of everyone else. So
Yeah.
sometimes those small incremental, like those little joys, those little bits of fun, are these baby steps that help say, okay, I matter too. I get to make more space for me. I get to integrate me into my life more.
Mhm.
My opinion matters, my decision matters, my wants matters, my desires matter, but you build a little bit of space every single day,
Yeah.
which ends up then creating and taking up a lot more space, but too much too soon can often feel really
Yeah.
like high stakes.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, sometimes, sure, with the right person under the right circumstances, making a big move really quickly,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
may work, but most of us need something a little more gradual that feels a little more easeful,
Yeah.
and
That's
we
such a
stick with
good,
it.
it's such a good point because it's not going to feel normal. Your body
No.
is not used to being regulated. It's used to being on that performance loop. It's used to, like you said, giving to other people.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is going to feel a little uncomfortable to make the change.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean you're doing it wrong.
Right,
It's
right.
like lean in a little bit more, like
Yes,
get uncomfortable on purpose. There's
yes,
a true purpose behind that. So
yes.
thank you for bringing that up because I do think there's so many times we start something new and we feel that uncomfortableness.
Mm-hmm,
Like, let's
hmm.
just go back over here because this must be wrong. I'm
Hmm.
feeling this uncomfortableness.
Hmm.
It's actually a really good sign.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But it's like, how much can my nervous system
Yes.
tolerate?
Yeah.
I want it to be, there's uncomfortable and then there is, dangerous
Mhm.
uncomfortable, where I'm just absolutely not even enjoying the joy or
Yeah.
the fun because it is, it's just
Too
too
much.
much too soon.
Yeah.
So it's just like working with yourself. And I think that's the best outcome of coaching always is usually this improved relationship that you have with yourself. So it's like, oh, I can tolerate this. I know what this is like. I can work with myself to get the life that I want and to
Yeah.
make this amazing life even better.
Yeah.
It's true partnership, which is so cool.
Yeah. It is. It is. Well, like I said, we could talk for like another 2 hours because you're so easy to talk to, and we have so many common things that we
We
coach and
do.
believe on. So, but I'd love to know just where can people connect with you if they want to learn more about you and your coaching? Where's the best place for them to connect?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
KatiePulsiferCoaching.com is my website. I have information there about my private coaching, and also I certify and train coaches. I have my own certification program there. I'm on Instagram and Substack and Facebook and LinkedIn, primarily on Substack. I like it over there, and I play on the other places a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I'm not just hearing about Substack, but like all of a sudden I feel like people are really talking about it more.
Hmm.
And I mean, I'm on there, but I haven't posted or done anything on there. But I'm really excited to I like the feel of Substack
Hmm.
and the less, again, as a performer, when you get on some of the other social media platforms, it kind of feeds that performance monster a
Yes.
little bit. And
Yes.
I'm over it, like
Yeah.
I'm just over it. And so while I love social media because it is for social reasons, I really want to learn more about Substack. So when I saw you were
Yeah.
on there, I'm like, I'm going to go follow her and see what she's doing.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you ever want to talk about it
Yeah.
offline, I'd love to share with you. It's
Okay.
yeah, it's a great place and it's where people are also wanting to engage in a bit
Mhm.
longer form content so you can produce more, not necessarily, I don't mean more thoughtful work, but you can spend a little bit more
Right.
time on a
Mhm.
topic and go a little deeper
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's a very supportive community over there. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll
yeah.
have to talk about it. So if you could leave the listeners with just one final thought. So they're mompreneurs, small business owners, women.
Mhm.
What's the final thought you'd like to leave them with?
You are doing amazing. You are doing so amazing. You are extraordinary. You are amazing. And if you have any little inner whisper or inner nudge or little knowing that there's something more for you,
Mhm.
I would lean in and be curious about that. And
Yeah.
then maybe there is a coach in your future that will help you uncover it, but lean in versus tune it out because
Yeah.
it could be something really wonderful that's trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
But you're already doing amazing. So I don't think we tell each other that enough.
All right. Who doesn't need that reminder every single day? Like put that in lipstick on your mirror or something. You're doing amazing. You are enough, right? Just put it there
Yeah.
so you can see it
Yeah.
every day. Well, thank you so much, Katie. This was a great conversation. I know the listeners are going to love it.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, friends. Well, I'll catch you on our next episode. Well, that's a wrap, friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. I really hope it met you right where you are and gave you some encouragement for your day. Could you do me the biggest favor and leave me a rating and review? Seriously, it's the best way for you to support the show. And while you're there, be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Thanks again. And until next time, I am believing in you always.